Thank you for joining us. Just time for a quick recap of the week, and we begin in Greece, a country of and in ruins. Now, you may remember Greece nearly went bankrupt a while ago after years of financial mismanagement, and the rest of Europe has had to angrily bail it out. Now, the terms of those loans were pretty harsh, and the new Greek government has been attempting to renegotiate them, and this Friday there was a breakthrough.
Greece finally has the financial lifeline it desperately needed to avoid a disaster. Eurozone negotiators have agreed to a 4-month extension plan of the country's $273 billion bailout program.
Now, that sounds pretty good, but in exchange, Greece did have to admit that moussaka is just disgusting potato lasagna. Nobody wants it. Now, if you're wondering why Europe agreed to that deal, it's because they pretty much had to. If Greece collapses, it may take the whole European single currency down with it. A lot depends on Greece at the moment. So on Friday, their new finance minister tried to reassure people in the Greekest possible way.
Sometimes, like Ulysses, you need to tie yourself on a mast in order to get to where you're going and to avoid the sirens. We intend to do this.
OK. That's not that reassuring for two reasons. First, everybody in Ulysses' crew dies in that story, and Ithaca falls to absolute shit in his absence. But secondly, is that a popped collar? Because if you are trying to get an entire continent to trust you, it's not a great idea to show up looking like Pitbull's uncle. I have to say, for a guy overseeing an economy on the edge of Armageddon, he is pretty laid back. He was even cracking jokes in the press conference.
Enough of this self-congratulation. This is time for work. I haven't finished, Paul. Be patient. It's a virtue.
That is a cocky attitude. Your country's on the verge of bankruptcy and you're acting like a strip club manager giving a speech at his retirement party. Enough of this self-congratulation. The polls are getting cold, ladies, so get back out there, Bambi. Look, clearly, he's a bit slimy. Here's the problem, though. The whole world's economy depends on this guy, and the more you find out about him, the scarier that seems.
It's not his plan nor his left-wing rhetoric that has got tongues wagging in Europe. It's his informal style. In London this week, he unveiled an edgy look. More biker than finance minister.
What are you wearing? Dress for the economy you want, not the economy you have. Because if I can just give you a quick bit of criticism here, you look like a 50-year-old Molly dealer at a Greek discotheque. How are we giving this man billions? I wouldn't give him $50. Because deep down, you know I would never see that money again. Because that is the face of a man who would immediately spend it all on scented lube. That's a fact. But let's move on. Let's move on to Ukraine. Let's move on to Ukraine, where tensions with Russia remain terrifyingly high, because although there was a ceasefire last weekend declared, it was basically violated almost as soon as it began. And if you are looking for someone to blame for that, you don't have to look far.
Ukraine claims 20 Russian tanks, 10 rocket launchers, along with troops and supplies, crossed the border into Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin remarked today, no one should have the illusion they can gain military superiority over Russia.
Yes, Putin says Russia is unconquerable, like a doorknob after you've just put on hand lotion. Just sit down, you're not going anywhere for at least 2 minutes. And look, the thing is, he's not entirely wrong, because it's beginning to seem like the international community is pretty powerless to do anything regarding Putin, which is why what Egypt did recently was so delightful. You may have missed that the week before last, Putin was in Cairo on a state visit, even presenting the Egyptian president with an AK-47, which is a bit condescending. You don't give a gun as a gift to a world leader. You give one to a child in Texas on his 13th birthday. We all know how it works. But here's the thing. This is where it gets good. Egypt decided to honour Putin with a rendition of his national anthem. Now, before I show you what happened, this is Russia's national anthem as played at his inauguration. That's a great anthem. Stirring, bold, powerful. This is his anthem as played for him in Egypt. he is. And yet he's just got to stand there and take it. Watch and learn, international community, because sure, to most countries like Egypt, Putin is unconquerable, but that does not mean that you can't kick the shit out of his national anthem in front of him. And finally, the United Kingdom. It's having an election in May. Both parties are campaigning hard, especially for women voters. The Conservative Party has been accused of ignoring women in the past, so the Labour Party may have a chance to capitalise, as long as they don't make any ridiculous mistakes.
The Labour Party has been defending the colour it's chosen for a minibus, which is being used in a campaign to try to attract female voters.
The Deputy Labour leader Harriet Harman has defended the decision to use the colour on the vehicle, already nicknamed the Barbie bus.
Wow. It is a little insulting that you're trying to appeal to adult women voters the same way that Mattel attempts to appeal to 8-year-olds. And at least Barbie's pink bus had the good sense to unfold into a sweet hot tub and party den combo. That thing was sick. Now, understandably, this bus has been more than a little controversial, with many women in Britain reacting like this.
We're politically minded, we can read and we can access information in the way that men or anyone else can. I think the pink bus is a bit patronising.
A bit patronising? The only way it could be more patronising is if its wheels were giant Nouva rings and they refused to let women drive it. Now, for some reason, instead of apologising, the Labour Party has tried to deny what colour the van is, insisting it was cerise or magenta, or trying to avoid the question altogether.
And just so we've got it on the record, what colour is this?
Hots. I'll tell you where we got the... I mean, it's like pink cerise, but I mean, I don't know. People will call this colour... it's certainly a version of pink, I would say.
I think she may have just hit rock bottom. You can see her thinking, I got into politics to make a difference, and now I'm on television desperately trying to act like I don't know the colour pink. What happened to my life? If this wasn't bad enough, the Labour Party claimed this is all part of an effort to reach out to women and have a conversation about the kitchen table and around the kitchen table, rather than having an economy that just reaches the boardroom table. Yeah, you know women. They want to talk to you where you are, not in a boardroom, but in a kitchen, or in a baby gap, or underneath a giant pile of yarn and romance novels. You know, the places you go. Incredibly, the pink bus has still not been discontinued, and at this point, I'm almost glad that Labour is not doing damage control, because I'm afraid that if they did, it would look like this.
Women of the United Kingdom, the Labour Party would like to apologise to you for our wrong-headed pink van campaign. We want you to know that Labour respects you, which is why this general election we will focus on the issues that we know matter to you. And that means... ponies! Look at the pretty pony. It's a very pretty pony, isn't it, women? Like you, Labour cares about this pony. We'll brush its pretty pony hair. And before you get offended, you're right, a pony is not enough. That's why we dress the pony up in a pretty princess outfit. Princess pony! Princess pony! Princess pony! Vote for Labour in May, and if you're very good, we will come to your kitchen and you can pet the pretty princess pony. Oh, don't be scared. She's a nice pony, not a mean pony. Go on, pet the pony. Do it now. Pet the pretty princess pony! Labour cares about women's issues, all of them. So when it's time to vote, remember, you love ponies, Labour has a pony, 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 ponies! Vote Labour.
Our top story tonight is judges, wearers of America's only formal moo-moos. Judges occupy an exalted position in American life, but as important as they are, we tend not to think about them very much unless one of them makes news, as happened earlier this month.
A federal court last month lifted Alabama's ban on same-sex marriage. But Roy Moore, the state's Supreme Court Chief Justice, ordered state judges to ignore the federal ruling.
Yes, Alabama Judge Roy Moore refused an order to let gay people marry, living up to his state slogan, Alabama, boldly refusing to accept diversity and the inevitable since 1819. Now, just out of interest, what was his judicial reasoning for such a decision?
I think that gay marriage is an alteration of the definition of marriage, and the United States Supreme Court does not have the authority, or the federal courts do not have the authority to interpret a word that disputes the Constitution.
Well, hold on. Not only can the Supreme Court override a state, that's basically its job. That's like telling dill it can't ruin any foodstuff it comes into contact with. That's what dill does. Get out of everyone's food, dill. You're a filthy weed, you wrecking ball. Now, you might be thinking, how did that man get to become the highest judicial officer in the state? Well, like 85% of state judges in America, he was elected. 39 states hold elections for judges, and America is virtually alone in doing this. In fact, there's only one other country on Earth that does it on this scale. And guess which? You're wrong, it's Bolivia. A country you think about so little, you haven't even realised that's not Bolivia, this is Bolivia. Actually, that's still not Bolivia, this is Bolivia. Or is it? This game is never not going to be fun. Now, America has been electing judges since the early 1800s. And the thing is, it all began from a good impulse.
Judicial elections originated as a reform measure, so people were concerned that, judges were being selected behind closed doors. There wasn't any kind of public accountability.
OK, and public accountability sounds great. The problem is, for many judges nowadays, there's almost none of that. Most run unopposed. Last year in LA County, 150 out of 151 incumbent judges ran unopposed. And come on, they could at least go through the motions of pretending there was another candidate. Just throw a robe on a pelican and tape a gavel to his wing. Or I'll tell you what, you're in LA, just pretend you're considering Blake Lively for the job. Movie studios do that all the time. And the problem is, whenever a judge does face a challenger, they have to run like a politician. And that's why many states are subjected to the bizarre spectacle of ads like these.
Hi, I'm Alan Lawfrey, and I'm running for our Supreme Court. It's Lawfrey, as in law and free. This is my house. Come on in. There's the kitchen. Something smells good. In my family room, my wife Kelly Lawfrey and our son Justice Lawfrey. That's right, Justice Lawfrey.
Yes, sir.
Yep, I call my son Justice, I call my dog Preamble, and I call my penis the gavel. Vote for me. Boom, 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 boom. And sometimes campaigns opt to sell a judge with sheer catchiness.
There's a judge they call Paul Newby. He's got criminals on the run. Paul Steely stares, got them running scared, and he'll take them down one by one. Paul Newby, he's a tough old judge, respected everywhere. Paul Newby, justice tough but fair. Paul Newby, criminals best beware.
What just happened? Am I supposed to vote for that man or root for him to catch them Duke boys? And look, I know what you're thinking. Could any commercial be less relevant to a judge's qualifications for the job? I give you Greg Beard.
Search and rescue in Rapides Parish. Here's volunteer diver Greg Beard.
We have to know what we're doing. Study, train, trust our team. We do this because it helps people.
Greg Beard for Rapides Parish District Court Judge.
When times are tough, this dive team stands ready.
Of course, it makes sense. Because when I'm choosing a judge, the only thing I really care about is who can hold their breath the longest. Here's the thing. All three of the men in those ads won their elections. They're judges now, judging people. And the stupid ads are actually the least problematic. What's far more worrisome is when judges run ads like these.
Without blinking an eye, Judge Kenneth Ingram sentenced the killer to die.
Michael Oster is the only candidate for judge who has put our worst criminals on death row.
It's my privilege to sentence you to life in prison without parole.
Wait, it's your privilege? At best, it's your duty. There are some jobs where that kind of occupational relish is inappropriate. If you're having a colonoscopy, you don't want to hear, "It is my privilege to insert this camera deep inside your anus." The problem with an elected judiciary is sometimes the right decision is neither easy nor popular. And yet, campaigns force judges to look over their shoulder on every ruling. Because while political attack ads can be aggressive, judicial attack ads can be downright horrifying.
I was convicted of stabbing my victims with a kitchen knife.
Of shooting my ex-girlfriend and murdering her sister in front of our child.
Of sexual assault on a mom and her 10-year-old daughter. And I slashed their throats.
On appeal, Justice Thomas Kilbride sided with us.
Over law enforcement or victims.
Oh my God. Good luck getting back into whatever you were watching after seeing that commercial. Sheldon and his friends are going to have to get into some pretty wacky mishaps to wipe the memory of that away. Now, what those evil shadows are saying sounds awful, but here's the problem. None of those three men were actually set free by Judge Kilbride, but in each case he merely questioned the legality of procedural points in their trials, which is a judge's job. But there's no room in campaigns for nuance. That's why you don't see bumper stickers reading, "Justice is complicated, requiring the sublimation of our baser instincts," which, though difficult, is the only thing that separates us from the anarchy of beasts, Kilbride 2015. The danger is, though, if ads like those get inside judges' heads and make them rule more harshly to protect themselves in the future. And the problem is, that does happen.
There are some academic studies that have suggested that judges do change their behavior. So, for example, in election years, if you look at judges' sentencing decisions, judges tend to be harder on crime.
That's terrifying, because you shouldn't be sitting in a prison going, "How did you get 15 months for public urination?" Well, you know, it was October in an election year. I should have known what I was getting into. And it's not like appointing judges is the perfect system. We can all name one that we don't like, and it's usually Antonin Scalia. No. Or, in his more palatable form, a bulldog dressed as Antonin Scalia. But here's the thing. Elections are inherently compromising because campaigns cost money, and that money has to come from somewhere, which leads to the horrifying spectacle of judges hitting up lawyers for donations.
For attorneys like Jules Olsman, this is the most expensive time of the year. Election season is when lawyers like him have to dig deepest into their wallets. That's because every hour or so, he'll get a call from a judge's campaign looking for a contribution.
It's very hard to say no. It's impossible to say no.
Judges asking lawyers to give them campaign money is the definition of a conflict of interest. Think about it. Giving money to judges wouldn't be acceptable in a state fair squash growing competition. Oh, really? Gladys gets first place? How much money did she give you? Because I know that knobbly pile of shit is not the nicest squash you've seen this afternoon. It looks like the Jolly Green Giant's dick fell off, and everyone here knows it, Gladys. Everyone knows it. Sometimes judges will even shake lawyers down after the election is over. Democratic Appeals Court Judge Jim Sharp sent a passive-aggressive email to a Texas attorney who had donated to his unsuccessful opponent, which said, "I trust that you will see your way clear to contribute to my campaign and in an amount reflective of the $2,000 contribution you made towards my defeat." Wink emoticon. And the fact that he's shaking him down isn't even the part of that email I find most offensive. It's the wink emoticon. I guess we should all just be glad he stopped short of going full wink emoji. Incredibly, judges can even target potential future defendants, as a Philadelphia traffic court judge candidate named Willie Singletary did at a biker rally.
I'm running for traffic court judge, right? And I need some money. I'm gonna tell y'all just like this. I need some money. I got some stuff I gotta get to do. So if you all can get $20, y'all can need me in traffic court. Am I right about it?
Do all judges do this? Are there divorce judges going to IKEAs right now saying, "Look, I know some of you guys won't last. Who's got $50 for me? Cough up." Now, you'll be glad to hear that that judge is no longer on the bench, although it wasn't for taking those contributions, but rather because he allegedly once showed cell phone pictures of his genitals to a colleague, an accusation that yielded a disciplinary hearing whose magnificent opinion featured the phrase, "the judicial penis," and determined he had intentionally groomed his penis for photography. Now, that's not really relevant to the story that I'm telling right now, but I think you'll agree you had to know that. You deserve to know that. And look, it gets one step worse. One step worse, judges also frequently benefit from campaign money given by businesses and special interests. And while they may claim that that doesn't affect them, multiple studies have suggested otherwise.
We looked at the Ohio Supreme Court.
and ask the question of how often they vote for contributors who appear before them. And the answer was overall about 70% of the time. And in the case of one justice, Terence O'Donnell, 91% of the time.
Now, Justice O'Donnell says that there is no connection there, but the point is, he still said, sure, why not, in response to people who gave him money 91% of the time. And the only other person who does that is Nicolas Cage. That's the only... It's been a disaster, Nicolas. It's been a romp, but it's been a disaster. And to be fair, many judges don't like this system. Even Ohio Supreme Court Justice Paul Pfeiffer has said, I never felt so much like a hooker down by the bus station in any race I've ever been in as I did in a judicial race. Which does explain Pfeiffer's campaign slogan, justice for all, no kissing on the mouth, though. I have to save something for the man I fall in love with. And increasingly, since Citizens United, PACs and super PACs are getting involved. In fact, remember the banjo ad? The one you're still humming in your head? That was sponsored by a PAC called the North Carolina Judicial Coalition, whose funders include businesses like R.J. Reynolds. And remember this one?
I was convicted of stabbing my victims with a kitchen knife.
Of shooting my ex-girlfriend and murdering her sister in front of our child.
That was sponsored by something called Just PAC, whose donors include Koch Industries, the US Chamber of Commerce, and John Deere PAC. Yes, the people who make tractors also apparently help make judicial decisions for the people of Illinois. And look, when you have a system where judges are serenaded with banjos, shake down lawyers for money, compare themselves to prostitutes, and live in constant fear of tractors, you have a problem. Because faith in a strong, independent judiciary is essential for a civilised society. Without it, we're settling disputes either in thunderdomes or via the purge. And I still can't work out how that thing works. Are there any rules? Are time zones a factor in the purge? Is the East Coast purge an hour before the purge Central Time? In which case, nobody tweet about it. It spoils it for everyone. Look, if we're going to keep electing judges, we may have to alter our idea of what justice is. In fact, at the very least, to be a bit more representative, we should tweak the blindfolded lady holding scales to put a tip jar in her hand and give her a fucking winking emoji for her face. And now this.
And now, CNN weatherman Chad Myers hates his job, his life, and everyone around him.
You look cold, Chad.
I am freezing, Carol. They wouldn't let me go get my storm gear for this hit, so I'm standing out here in a suit and this little coat. Got a little strep throat, a little cold, maybe some influenza. I'm not even sure what's going on in this.
Chad Myers, we've even called him in here. This is so big. Hi, Chad.
That's right. You never call me in when there's actually good weather. You always bring me in when there's something bad to talk about.
I'm afraid Punxsutawney Phil may have been right for once.
Hey, Chad. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I grabbed the short drumstick, and here I am.
Good to see both of you, especially you.
It's good to see you, Don. Yeah. Sent me to New York, and then they worked me to death.
Yeah.
When I was 6, I did get cold in my stocking.
The Smithsonian says it looks like a cross between a house cat and a teddy bear.
My wife already wants one.
Oh, no. Would you go with your wife?
With a marriage counselor. They go to Florida and they like it. My parents were down there for quite some time. I was in Detroit and they would laugh at me all the time.
I would too.
Let's bring in Chad Myers now. The big thing is, oh, look at you, you're crying. Don't be sad, Chad.
Right. This is a very strong storm.
All right.
Anderson?
Chad Myers, thanks. Let's check in with Susan Hendricks, 360 Bulletin.
Could you
Susan?
wait till I'm done?
If it ends up over land and touches down on land, it becomes a tornado?
You've been paying attention.
Finally, this week was the Chinese New Year. Objectively, the best New Year. Not only because it doesn't involve Ryan Seacrest, but because China goes all out.
Across the country, people welcome the Year of the Sheep with elaborate light displays, dancing, and even a fireworks-like performance using molten iron.
OK, that seems immensely unsafe. Unless they are killing a Terminator, in which case, by all means, you do what you have to do. Yes, this week marked the beginning of the Year of the Sheep, unless it didn't.
So it's the Year of the Sheep and the Year of the Goat, right?
Exactly. The Year of the Sheep, Goat, it depends on where you're from, but they're all essentially the same.
The Year of the Ram, Goat, Sheep, whatever you want to call it.
Year of the Goat, or Year of the Sheep, depending on which translator you ask.
Well, that's actually true. You see, the problem here is, in the Chinese language, the same word, yang, is used for both sheep and goat. In fact, without a qualifier, it can mean any hoofed animal that eats grass and bleats. So technically, if she was wearing high heels and eating a salad, this could be the year of Stevie Nicks. So the point is, the centrepiece of the Chinese festivities is their annual New Year's Gala, and it is incredible.
The New Year's Gala is an old-school variety show, a 5-hour marathon, heavy on song, dance, and Communist Party-style patriotism. It's a cultural phenomenon in China, drawing more viewers than the Oscars, Emmys, and VMAs combined.
Oh, it doesn't stop there, because you can throw in the Super Bowl and the Latin Grammys, and you're still not close. 700 million people tune into the gala. That's 1 in every 10 people on Earth. And when you see it, it starts to make sense. Because the opening number alone was quite possibly the happiest song of all time. Holy shit, that kid is amazing! See? By the way, see Caillou? That's what a bald child is supposed to behave like. He's outside, he's living his life. He's having adventures, Caillou. Grow up! And look, that was just the beginning. The gala also featured contortionists pouring water with their feet, a man chugging rice wine, and someone else spinning around on roller skates with a child on his head while a giant robot looks on. And that alone is China in microcosm right there. A gigantic machine looming over its subjects, forcing them to be more coordinated than anyone thought was physically possible. Clearly, the Chinese take their New Year celebrations very seriously. So when the American consulate in Hong Kong put together a video to celebrate it, I can only assume it was equally spectacular.
總領事，今年你去九龍寨城公園揾獅子高手問叔，認識下呢種中國民間藝術啦。
好，依家就去揾佢。
Where to, CG Heart?
All right, stop right there. What the fuck was that? Let's pray that no one in mainland China saw that, because slapping a pair of sunglasses on a stuffed sheep seems like an insult. Even I can do better than that. Watch, I'll do it right now.
There
you go.
Please enjoy my articulated mouth and full range of motion. It's the least I can do for a nation which owns over $1 trillion of U.S. debt to welcome in the year of me.
Wait, excuse me, gentlemen. The year of whom? Huh? This is the year of the goat.
Oh boy, this is not going to be good. Okay.
This is the year of the sheep.
Oh,
no, honey, it's the year of the goat.
The sheep.
Go.
No. Okay, whoa. Guys, this is just a cultural misunderstanding. The Chinese language actually doesn't make a specific distinction between the two of you.
Now, we're completely different, okay? Look, goats have beards, see? See?
I see it.
Sheepies, they can't grow beards. They like Topher Grace.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Well, my cheese has vitamin C.
Well, so what? Who eats the cheese for the vitamin C, huh?
Okay,
Hey, fun fact, Johnny, I eat tin cans.
No, that is an urban legend.
Oh, I've done it. You calling me a liar?
Oh, yes, sweetheart, yeah.
No. Guys, look, I actually know one way that you are different. Only one of you goes well with mint jelly.
Fuck you.
Let's ram this guy.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, no, guys! Stop it! That's our show! Join us again next week! Happy Year of the Goat Sheep!